I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce.
Alrighty, so we got Chris here. I'm adding Modai to the screen as we speak, and then Ski's going to be here in just 2 moments. So, all right, there we go.
Yeah, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you guys are having a lovely day out there. I think this is how Cal starts the show. Not a great day for me yesterday, which Cal doesn't say that too often, but 2, 3, and 2 day for me yesterday. I had 2 plays give voice. I guess you could just say 2 and 3. CLV, like, minus, plus like 25 points of CLV on everything that I took, and it all lost yesterday. Kyrie Irving, I'm still having nightmares of him shooting a meaningless 3-pointer to make sure that the Timberwolves minus 1.5 does not cash.
That was
yesterday.
disgusting, Chris.
Oh, I couldn't sleep last night. I just tossed and turned all night. I'm actually still recovering from it. And Celtics got them early, -6. They won by 4 in overtime with the Clippers B team. So, yeah, those were the losers. Brooklyn Nets team total under 104.5 was actually the one thing that came through for brother yesterday. They scored like 85 points yesterday. So that was one of the winners. And then Giannis points ended up being voided, and the 2-leg with parlay with James Harden assists also ended up being voided as well because he didn't play last night. And then miraculously, I just saw an injury report. Everybody healed up like Wolverine overnight, and all of the Clippers players are going to play today, and all of the Celtics players are going to play today. So we get some competitive basketball. Excited to jump into it today. What we got up first, Moda?
I had a great day last night. Not that nobody cares, but I had a great night last night. I went 3 and 2, but because we hit some juicy plus money bangers, had a pretty good night. So thanks for asking. Yeah, it was good.
Nice. I love it. What we got for today, probably we'll talk.
All right. So first on deck, we got Blazers Magic. Ski, as we said, will probably be joining in like a minute or two, or whatever. He's coming in late in typical Ski fashion. That's how we do. We got the Blazers Magic here, 8-point spread. I actually, when I was capping the game last night, I didn't wind up getting to his side because of all the injury things. Franz Wagner actually may return in this game. Crazy enough, he actually participated in shoot-arounds as well. So what do you guys think about this one?
Yeah, Moda, you got anything you like in here?
I'd love to start. I don't have anything in this game. With DeAndre Ayton questionable, with Franz possibly being back, there's just a lot of injury risk. I know like someone that I respect in my Discord thinks that like players playing limited minutes is mostly a myth. If you look at like whenever they say someone's going to play limited minutes, unless it's like Kawhi or Embiid, they normally play like 25, 30 minutes. So if you think that's the case, you can get some value on Franz. His over under 17.5. Obviously like his numbers this year are incredibly skewed because he played majority of those games without Paolo. So you can't look at that hit rate and be like, oh, like he's going to average 27, whatever it may be. But either way, like the 17.5 is value. If you think he is going to play, like Paolo in his first game back, I think played 28 minutes. Like if that's the case with Franz, 20 points is solid. I also like Denny rebounds. I didn't end up betting this either, mostly because I want to know if DeAndre Ayton is playing, but forwards have a good matchup against Magic for rebound props. Denny's been awesome recently. Last 4 games, 8, 12, 12, 10 rebounds, 15 rebound chances. One of them he had 12 on 12, so like that's a little concerning. And then like 10 the game before. So the rebound chances aren't amazing, but he's not deferring any. So, but yeah, anyways, that's a long way of saying I didn't bet anything, but just a couple leans.
Okay.
Yeah, Denny has absolutely been hooping. It's going to be interesting to see if Anthony Simons plays, if Aiden plays, because of course that's going to change his usage for tonight. We got Ski who just joined. Ski, we're just talking about Portland, Orlando. Anything you liking in this one? Any leans or anything at all?
My bad, you guys, for being late. And I literally just got my audio working, so I'm glad you told me what game we're on. That Portland game, whenever I see Orlando on the schedule, I just think of them as one way. Like we always know they're going to be really good defensive team. The struggles come on the offensive end and trying to integrate Franz back in the lineup. If Orlando's going to win this game and they're big favorites, I think it's more so because they locked down. I don't think it's because of anything offensively. So I disagree with the market pushing it up. I think under 212.5 is the winning side.
Yeah, this isn't a game that I feel comfortable playing. I think it's 3 guys on the injury report for both teams. You got Simons, Kamara, and Aiden on one side, and then like Ski just mentioned, Franz could potentially return. He did go through shoot around. Chris Murray, Cole Anthony. It's just Gogo Bataze listed as doubtful. It's just a lot of moving pieces in this game. What I will say is that Portland has actually been playing a little bit better recently, and probably right when you expect them to continue, kind of keep it going is when they'll probably end up dropping the ball. Orlando needs a win in the worst possible way after getting blown out in Toronto the other night. So I'm with Ski. I think even if offensively they don't come to play here because they're trying to integrate Franz back in, I think it's more of an understyle game as well. Orlando is bottom 5 in pace, bottom 5 in scoring, bottom 5 in 3-point shooting. So to me, it'd just be under or nothing as well. And maybe I was looking at the team total, Ski. It's like 102.5, I think, for Portland. Would you isolate it, or would you just take the full game because Orlando's struggling to score too?
Yeah, I thought about that, but the last part you said, you got it. Orlando's either second worst or the worst offensive rated team last 5 games. So I would include them too.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So yeah, under for myself, and sounds like Ski would be leaning under as well. What we got up next? Probably.
All right. So for the next game, we've got Heat and the Bucks. Bucks got the day off yesterday due to the cancellation against the Pelicans. 7.5-point spread here. Who wants to lead off?
Let's go. Let's just go in rotation we were in. Modai, you go first, and then we'll kick it to Ski, and I'll come behind Ski. What's
Pause.
Pause.
Yeah. I was gonna say pause now.
Yeah.
What I walk into over here.
Yeah. Modai, you got anything for Heat and Bucks?
Yes, I do. So I bet Dame over 6.5 assists. Right now, that's best offered at -118. That's actually not terrible if you compare that to the rest of the market. Like you can see like -142, -135, -132, whatever. So I'd still take it at -118. So the matchup, the play here is just Dame against a team that allows a decent amount of assists. And the Heat aren't like the Bulls that are the worst, but they're 20th in terms of assists allowed. So they're bottom 3rd. Dame this year against teams that are bottom 3rd in terms of assists allowed has gone 7 or more assists in 9 of 14 games. Last time we played the Heat, he had 12 assists. Now, both Giannis and Chris Middleton didn't play in that game, so you expect he had the ball in his hands that entire game. That's obviously not going to happen, but I still do think that the Heat are a good matchup for someone like Dame. Like the high usage guards, they just try to get the ball out of their hands. That's why the Heat give up a lot of catch and shoot 3-pointers. So I think that Dame assist is a good matchup against this Heat team. And I got it at a better price, but I would still take it at -118.
Damian Lillard up and over his assist prop. Okay, Ski, what you thinking about when you think about Miami and Milwaukee tonight?
Yeah, just so you guys know, and if I repeat anything, I'm sorry, because I can't hear him when he's breaking down the games.
Who? Modai?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So Ski can't hear Modai. So Modai, can you leave and come back again real quick? I hate to ask you to do it, but
shouldn't he leave and come back? Because I can hear everybody.
Okay, Modai can hear everybody. All right. So Ski, after you do your breakdown, can you leave and come back real quick?
Yeah, no problem.
There we go, Modai. Problem solver over here, Modai. Beautiful. All right. Get into it, Ski.
So in this game, I think I pretty much agree with the slight move up on the total. When I look at the Bucks, they just really been in a good rhythm offensively. They've had 122 plus in 4 straight games. I mean, they've had, I think 4 of the last 5 games have cleared this number. And then you look at Miami, I just feel like you can't really trust the defense. Last 5 games, they are the 28th defensive rated team. So just a combination of those two things have me looking towards the over. And I really wanted to try to get there with the Bucks. I mean, they were supposed to be on a back-to-back, but their game yesterday got postponed. So they're extremely rested, and they were already playing well. I guess you could argue, have they had too much rest where it can become rest or throwing off the rhythm that they had? But I'd be willing to bet on them for one more night. I would think either the over, Milwaukee team total over. Those are the 2 bets that I would be looking at in this game.
Okay, my thought process is very, very similar to Ski's. The thing that kind of held me up here is that the Bucks are, I'm guessing they're in the air right now. I don't know how closely people are monitoring this, but they were scheduled to fly out of New Orleans at 2 p.m. And I'm guessing New Orleans is that what is New Orleans? Is that just Eastern
Central.
Standard Time? Central Standard Time. So that's 1 o'clock my time, I guess. So they were supposed to be in the air 3 hours ago, and that throws off your whole entire like pattern of preparation. The tweet that came out from the beat writer says that the Bucks are scheduled to fly out of New Orleans at 2 p.m. and arrive in Milwaukee around 4 p.m. So it's like, I guess, like 3 p.m. their time. And flights are supposed to begin flying out this afternoon. I've been told that as the longest the Bucks can stick to that schedule above, the game is on. So like that like throws a big wrench in it for me, because the players will be out of their natural rhythm. Being kind of stuck in New Orleans last night. So that's the only thing that kept me off of it. Like maybe I'll still get there, but to Ski's point, Miami is bottom 5 defensive rated team last 5 games. They're 16th in offensive rating last 5 games. They're playing at a bottom 10 pace against the 14th most difficult schedule, and they've been shooting a ton of threes. They're not like really making them. Milwaukee's defense has been pretty good guarding them. And then the other thing that really kind of like jumped off the page to me is that Miami, for whatever reason, isn't guarding the rim well. Like we know that Giannis just wants to get downhill. I think they're 25th in opponent rim accuracy last 5 games. Portland killed them at the rim in the last game. So Miami's is not a team that I want to bet on right now with all the Jimmy Butler stuff that's going on. I know him being suspended as well. So this line was at 5 yesterday. I probably should have got ahead of it, kind of thinking that it would move in that direction. But I think it'd be a team total over would be the way that I would want to play this one. I think Miami still struggles to guard this Milwaukee team. So those are my thoughts on that one. What we got up next,
All
Fabian?
right. So in the next game, I'll actually be joining you guys. Me and Modai are on the same play in this one. We've got the Raptors and the Hawks 5-point spread, and the Hawks are coming off a back-to-back with kind of a bit of an ugly loss against the Pistons yesterday.
Got smoked against the Pistons yesterday. Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead. You lead us off, probably. Then we'll go Modai. Then we'll go Ski, and I'll come behind.
All right. Well, Modai's the guest here, so I want him to talk about his pick. We're both on it. Scotty Barnes over 6.5 assists. It's now juiced though, so you want to advise people to get the 7.5, I believe, right? At the plus money.
Yeah. If you're taking it right now, it's Scotty Barnes assist. You can get, it's like minus 140 best offered price that at least that I can see, or minus 135 actually. Minus 130 at Hard Rock. You know me, I would much rather take the 8+ at plus 135. So yeah, if you're betting it right now, that's probably what I would do. 8+ for a half unit on Scotty Barnes assist. But yeah, you can talk about it.
Okay. All right. I'm actually putting up a poll. So no, actually you talk about it.
Okay. So I'll talk about it. This is a play with IQ out, Emmanuel Quickley out, confirmed out for this game. Scotty Barnes has played 23 games this year without Emmanuel Quickley. All my notes are based on the 7 number, so I don't have him updated, like how often he lands exactly on 7. But without Emmanuel Quickley, he's hit 7 or more assists in 14 of 23 games. But more importantly, he's averaging almost 14 potential assists per game, like 13.8 potential assists. The matchup against the Hawks allow the 3rd most assists per game just overall. 7 of 11 guys, similar to Scotty Barnes in terms of their playmaking profile, have hit their assist prop over against the Hawks. So if you think that like in a good matchup, he's going to at least hit his average in potential assists, in games in which he has had 13 or more potential assists this season, he's had 7 or more assists in 13 of 16 games. So I said the number 13 a lot. In games in which he's had 13 potential assists, he's had 7 or more assists in 13 of 16 games. And that's not even looking at games specifically with Emmanuel Quickley out. That's just in general. So like my guess is that he's probably going to at least hit his average on potential assists. And if he does that, he'll probably get to the 7 number, and he'll probably get to the 8 number too. And I will say, I also sprinkled triple double. I put like literally 0.15 units, like emphasis on sprinkle the triple double, but it's a fast paced Hawks team. It seems like the perfect matchup for him to just accumulate a bunch of stats. So felt like a worthy sprinkle.
So I'm on the same play here. I mean, he was over the number 13-19 without Quickley. He's hit 8+ if you want to go with the plus money route. His last 4 or 5 on the road without Quickley, averaging, what is it during that span? He's averaging he's averaging 7.6. And what I really like about this matchup, as Modai was pointing out, is the fact that the Hawks play at such a fast pace against teams top 12 in pace without Quickley. Barnes 7-1 to the over this season, averaging 8.8. The lone under came against this Hawks team. I just don't think that that's going to happen again. I mean, he has smacked this total in 3 straight trips to Atlanta. He's averaging 9 during that span. He had 8+ in all 3 of those trips. As he mentioned, last 11-15 similar players to face Atlanta have gone over their total, according to Props Madness. And And this is also something I noticed. The Hawks defense, they perform so much worse at home this season, and it seems like their worst spot has been 0 days rest at home. They've had 3 games in such instances. They have an 128 plus defensive rating in these spots. So they have been really, really bad defensively in those 3 games. They got Toronto coming in. Normally not an offense I'm going to trust on the road, but with the way that Scotty Barnes has been able to hit this 8+ number on the road here, if you want to play it more safe and drink that -130, I'm not really one that's against drinking the juice. I'll drink it at the -130, but I'm also fine with the 8+ here. Or if you really want to go crazy, I don't mind the triple-double number. He has had a triple-double at Atlanta before, I believe. So, yeah, fine with all of those routes here. Love me some Scotty today.
Man, I'm glad you guys like
Scotty
this
Barnes
game.
process. I was about to say, what you guys think?
Yeah, I'm glad they like this game a lot because I'm not in love with it. But I'll say, when I see Atlanta land a few possessions, it makes me want to look the other way. Like, you can just look at their last. I just don't view them as a team like that. But if you do look at their last 8 games, they've won by 6+ one time. So on the flip side, you have a Toronto team that's been a little bit scrappy. They've actually won 3 of their last 4 games. So if they continue to play like that, I think they can keep it within a couple possessions. I lean towards Toronto plus the points.
Yep, and I'm right there with Ski too, man. Toronto did lose to they lost to this Atlanta team. Atlanta had to travel from Atlanta to Toronto earlier this season. Atlanta beat the brakes off of them. I think Toronto was getting a point in that game. It was 136 to 107. So that scared me off of making it to actually play it, Ski, because Atlanta has they did dominate that matchup, but current form and given the situation, I'm right there with Ski. You got an Atlanta team that's 4-13 against the spread when they're laying points, 3-8 when they're laying points at home, which is why I'm so upset with myself that I didn't take Detroit yesterday. Also just 3-8 when they're playing with less rest. So like Ski said, Toronto is playing slow, playing a little bit more defense. I think they're 14th defensive rated team 11th defensive rated team last 5 games. I think they could keep it within the number, just not something that I want to put my money on. I also just mentioned that there's a rematch in Atlanta on Saturday as well. So we'll see what happens here, and then maybe we can look to the next one. Ski, any thoughts on the total at 230? I think it was 235.5. I kind of leaned under just because Toronto's playing so much slower. It feels like Atlanta's playing a tad bit slower as well. They went under yesterday against Detroit. I don't view Toronto as a team that can score the ball very efficiently, specifically from the 3-point line. Any thoughts on the total?
I'm not sure. I think the Hawks, they have been going under. Maybe they have been playing a little bit slower. And I look at the numbers. I mean, it says they've been playing defense. But I just personally don't trust the Hawks to continue to play defense consistently. So I don't trust the Raptors either in that regard. So I can't put my money on that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I didn't bet it either. Just wanted your thoughts on the total. All right, what we got up next, Robbie?
All right, you guys are headed to OKC. Massive spread in this one, 13. Dallas at OKC.
Moda, take it away. What you got for us?
I didn't bet this one. Who the hell's playing? Both teams on a back-to-back. It's just a total pass for me.
Gaddy's going to be on the court. No Gaddy bets.
That's true. Not playing Gaddy today. No Gaddy.
He did cash yesterday, right? Didn't he cash yesterday?
I think he did cash for Lindy. Yeah.
Yeah, Lindy was on his points, rebounds, and assists over. I think he finished with 26 or 27. I think he took him over 24.5. So that was a winner. When I look at OKC, Ski, I'm more like in the observation phase with them right now, specifically if they're playing against a team that can rebound the basketball. Since Isaiah Hartenstein has gone down, no Chet Holmgren. I know you got big Jalen Williams, but with no Chet Holmgren and no Isaiah Hartenstein, it feels like when they're in a matchup where they can get dominated on the boards like they were yesterday, then the team has a chance to cover, especially if they're going to still be laying these pretty big numbers. Now, I know Dallas is very, very depleted. They were able to keep that game close yesterday against the Timberwolves at home. Any thoughts on this one, Ski? Or a straight pass?
Yeah, both teams. I feel like they used a good bit of energy yesterday in their games. 3rd and 4 actually for the Mavericks here, and they are missing. I mean, I know you talk about OKC missing some bigs. You are missing Lively, Najee, Powell. You're missing some bigs on the Dallas side too. So I don't think they'll really be able to take advantage too much as far as the rebounding battle is concerned, or inside, or however you want to look at it. The Thunder, they've been double-digit favorites 15 times, and they've covered 11 of them. So it's a team that I still would trust. And last time these teams played, Dallas beat them outright. and the Thunder were on a back-to-back. The Mavericks weren't. This time it's more even. And in that last game, SGA didn't play either. So, SGA, he's in good rhythm right now. He's coming off a 50-piece. I think that the Thunder can blow the Mavericks out in this game.
Yeah, I kind of hope so. And I hope Kyrie's a part of it just because he hit that three last night that made my Minnesota -1.5 ticket lose. So I'm right there. We just hope they lose by 100 today. But not a game that I'm interested in betting either, especially with both teams on the second leg of a back-to-back. Ski made some great points about Dallas potentially not being able to take advantage of OKC on the boards, which I'm not sure if this version of the Dallas Mavericks will be able to do so, especially with them being in a really more of a fatigue spot than OKC is. So no thoughts on the side at all for me. I'm interested. I know that the one key piece for Dallas, because for people who don't know, Clay has already been ruled out. Najee Marshall's been ruled out as well. I think Kyrie is going to play, and I think that version of a defensive team with the travel fatigue is enough for OKC to probably go up and over the team total. So that's probably where I lean, thinking that this game's probably going to be played with pace, but nothing official for me in this one either. Okay. What we got up next, Robbie?
We've got probably the healthiest matchup of the night. Pretty much nobody on the injury report, but a massive spread. I thought it'd be a bit closer than this, but I guess Denver's cooking right now.
They are, and they opened at 7 yesterday. I did see this open at 7. I think it opened like 238, and the total's been steamed up to, what is it now, 242.
Damn.
Not prop beaver. Moda, any thoughts on this one? Got any play props?
Yeah, I got 2 in this one actually, but one of them is kind of similar to Scotty Barnes where the odds got nuked. It was Malik Monk assists. I got over 5.5 for -113. I mean, the best price you're getting now is -140. So if I'm betting it right now, you can get +140 on 7+. So I'd probably put a half unit on that, or you could parlay him and Scotty to get 6 each. If you want to be a little bit safer, and you could do that. I'm not really a parlay guy, but that's not bad. So I won't spend too much time on that. The one that I do like and that is still relatively available is Jokic triple-double. So really the bet here, and that's +120 at DraftKings, same price that I got. Really the bet here is that he's going to get 10 assists. Because his rebound props at like 12.5 juiced to the over. He's gotten 10 rebounds in like 80% of his games. And last time he played the Kings, I think he had 14 rebounds. Points, he's literally never had double or single digit points in a game this year. One time I said that and I had him on triple double and he landed on exactly 10 and he scored like his last minute. So hopefully I'm not jinxing it again. But anyways, it's a play on the assist, and he's been on fire. Like he's had 10 assists, 8 of his last 10 games, and both times he went under. He had exactly 9, and one time he had like 17 potential assists. It's a good matchup against the Kings, who are the worst defense in the NBA guarding spot-up shooters. So like that's generally an assisted play if you're kicking out to a spot-up shooter. They're also bad in catch-and-shoot opportunities. Obviously, those two numbers are correlated. We don't have a ton of comparison for guys like Jokic because, I mean, there's like 3 centers who you could even consider a playmaking center. And one of them plays for the Kings, but both Şengün and Jokic in their matchups against the Kings went over their assist prop, including obviously Jokic. The last time he played had 13 assists last time he played the Kings. And Jokic had a triple-double 4 straight games, so I'll just keep riding it as long as I'm getting plus money.
Yeah. What you guys get?
I'm kind of mad that I didn't bet this game earlier because I talked about it last night, and I was liking the over. I mean, we'll see how it shakes out, but it was 239 last night. We're looking at 242 and a half right now. I just think of it like the Kings aren't another team that I just don't trust to play defense consistently. Mike Brown was begging them to play defense for years, and he's ended up got it fired. Now Doug Christie wants them to play more offensive, and they've been having success, and they like playing for him. So I'm looking at their last 5 games. They've had 240 plus in 4 of them. Nuggets also a team that generally plays faster this year, and we know how efficient they are on the offensive end. If you want to put numbers to it, they're number 1 offensive rated team, and the Kings are number 1 in pace both last 5 games. So combination of all those things, also not really trusting Denver's defense. I think this is an over game.
Okay. So I know that Chris likes the Denver team total over in this one, and it was actually one of his top bets.
You can't hear Prop Beaver?
Nah, I can hear. He's just not on the screen right now. Do you see
You
him?
guys are both talking at the same time, and I thought I was gonna have an aneurysm.
Yeah.
No.
I was like, maybe I thought I had like a screen on or something.
No, I mean, why? You guys? Oh, there we go.
Okay, all right. All right, we good now?
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
All right. So Ski was making a point for the full game over between Sacramento and Denver, and I was saying that I agree with that. I was thinking of isolating Denver's team total specifically at 124.5, and the reason was because, like you said, Ski, I don't trust the Kings defense either. They've played 8 times with no rest this season. Their last 7 opponents have actually gone up and over their team total. So I don't think we're asking for too much. These two teams did play earlier this season in Sacramento. Denver hung 130 on them, and they beat them 130 to 129. That was, with Sacramento being at home. So Denver being at home, it's just really hard to bet against them right now. They are number 1 offensive efficiency team last 5 games, number 4 overall at home this season. So I feel like they can get to 124, given Sacramento had to exert some energy. They went into halftime last night as a 7.5 point favorite, but they went in halftime down against Golden State. And now you're traveling on the second leg of a back-to-back into altitude. So to me, I think, I know it's a pretty high number. It was at 123.5. It's up to 124. I think I just bet them to get 125 and just stay away from the spread altogether.
All right, so to provide some context to the viewers, I believe Chris was talking and there was like a weird disconnect where he was out of our room, but he was still in the room with Modai and Ski talking about his pick, and they were hearing both me and Chris simultaneously. All right, but they heard me introduce the pick at the very least, so they know it's one of your top bets today, and everything is good in the kingdom of Kirms. Let's move on to the next game. We've got one of my picks. All right, so I guess I'll lead off here real quick. 1 second. We're going to the Giddler, folks. We're going to Josh Giddey. We got no we got no Kobe White on the floor, so we're gonna be attacking Giddey's over rebounds and assists here. I was thinking about doing the points as well because for some reason he always goes ballistic against the Warriors, but in the last 3 games where we see no White on the floor and we see Ball and Levine on the floor, his usage rate's like 15% and lower in all 3. It's disgusting. So we're not doing that shit. All right. So 3-0 without White and with Ball and Levine. Last 3 opportunities, averaging 20.3 rebounds and assists on 15 rebound chances, 15 potential assists per game. That's 30 plus. The lone game without White and with the trio of Levine, Ayo Dosunmu, and Lonzo Ball healthy, he dominated with 24 rebounds and assists on 31 total chances. And we saw him play a whopping 40 minutes last game. With just 31 minutes this season, he's over the mark in 8 of 11 contests, averaging 17.5, including his last 6 of 7, averaging 19.1. Now going to face a Warriors team that allows the 10th most assists per game, 11th most rebounds per game to the point guard position. And they're coming off the first leg of a back-to-back. They got a lot of key guys sitting here to make this line a bit easier to cash. I don't really got a lot more to say here. I lost a little bit of a CLV, but I think when you're going to give Josh Giddey minutes, he's just going to rack up the teammate stats here. Big teammate grade guy, Josh Giddey.
Yeah, I can see him having a little bit of a role similar to Malik Monk, who went up and over, I think, his points and assists yesterday in the Sacramento game. So, yeah, I like that look a lot, probably. I hadn't even thought about Josh Giddey. Mm-hmm. Moda, anything you like here before we kick it to Ski?
I didn't. This is another one that I didn't bet. I would give it out as a lean. But I think Lonzo, either his points, which is 8.5, or makes more sense in my opinion to just do 3s. You can get 3 plus for plus 145. Only once this year has he gotten 9 points and not had that be from 3 3-pointers. If you play that, it's a half unit, which you can, or I would play it for a half unit, which you can get at plus 155 at Fanatics, plus 150 at DraftKings. It's a good matchup because like the Warriors are the second worst team guarding spot up shooters. They allow, I think, the 3rd highest frequency of shots are catch and shoot 3-pointers. Lonzo's been playing more recently, like up to 20, 25 minutes his last couple games. The reason why I didn't bet it was his volume is like 5 to 7 shots. So if I'm asking a guy to shoot 40 to 60% from deep, it's to me that you're asking for a little bit too much. Granted, that's why it's the price the way it is. But yeah, that's where I would go in this game, but I didn't bet it.
No, so Kobe White is unlikely, right? And then Ayo is questionable. So that should be a little bit more usage for Lonzo is what I'm thinking. I think that's a pretty good look. It'll probably be risky. Mm-hmm. Total dropping. I think it was opened at 232 is what I wrote in my notes. I see it down to like 228.5, I think. And then, of course, this opened with, I think, Golden State laying like 5 initially. And then it went down to 3.5, 2.5. Now it's down to 1.5. Thoughts on the side of the total at all, Ski?
More, I mean, the thing that stands out to me in this game is the spot that I think it's a Bulls spot. Like Warriors playing on a back-to-back, 3rd and 4, 4th and 6. Bulls, the much more rested team. They had 2 days off before this game, and it was a game where, I mean, you could call it a letdown, but them having the rest after, I don't really look at it that way. Where they won that last game as an underdog, so I just think they're playing a little bit better than Golden State right now. Golden State has gotten a couple wins out of their last few games, but ever since Kuminga went down, it's just not a whole lot to like for them. I feel like they're still figuring out how they need to play without him. So, combination of all those things, I'll lean with the Bulls.
Yeah, me too. And I'll leave it just right there with a lean, though. Every time I need the Bulls to do anything or it's a Bulls spot, they always let me down. So I'm still on a Bulls free diet, but I do agree with everything Ski just said. When I look at Chicago, like recently, they've been going under, and a lot of it is due to them like really struggling to shoot the basketball. The Bulls offense is actually falling off a cliff because their 3-point shots have been so bad recently. On the full season, they're actually 2nd in frequency, 10th in accuracy. But you look at last 5 games, they're 15th in frequency, so they're shooting less threes, and they're 27th in accuracy. Last 5 games, they've attacked the rim a ton, which is pretty interesting. Number 1 in rim frequency, so Vucevic getting downhill, some of those guards getting downhill, but they're 26th in accuracy, so they're not making those shots. Golden State has actually done a pretty good job of protecting the rim, even though 3-point shots have been their downfall. So if Chicago gets hot from the 3-point line, I do feel like this is a game that they can win. With that being said, I can't put my money on it. Even with the Bulls being 6-2 against the spread with the rest advantage, Golden State being 1-7 against the spread with the rest disadvantage, Golden State being 1-5 against the spread when playing on the second leg of back-to-back games, without Baczynski, without Kuminga, without Draymond, still can't put my money on Chicago. But I do think it's a Chicago spot. Chicago has just burned me a little bit too many times so far this season. So I'll leave it as a lean with Ski, Chicago. And I also lean towards the under. I feel like Golden State defensively is still, pretty good. They've been playing a lot slower. I think they're bottom 5 in pace as well. Chicago has played the easiest strength of schedule over the last 5 games as well. So just some things to kind of take into consideration, but not a game that I bet.
And a slew of injuries just got announced, by the way. So Kyle Anderson out. Kevon Looney's actually going to play. Brandon Podziemski's going to play. TJD is now questionable, and Steph Curry's also questionable. I don't think Steph Curry's going to be playing any back-to-backs going forward.
The inflammation in his knee, I think, is something to take into consideration, which is why this line probably dropped from the 5. So Ski is I think Ski's right. Lindy Ward is now questionable. I see that as well. And then we got an update on the Heat and Bucks game as well. It's going to start at 8:30 because of the Bucks travel delay. So they will not be into their regular routine, and that's enough to kind of keep me off of that one. Yeah. Maybe even a look towards Miami early, and then the Bucks kind of get it together after halftime, being out of their routine. So yeah, that's gonna be weird, like showing up to a game and having to go straight into it versus your normal preparation and getting taped and stretched and all that stuff. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. What we got? Probably we got one more game.
Two more games, but probably the game of the night.
What we got? Lakers and Celtics.
Lake Show.
Modi, what we looking at here?
So I took Kristaps Porzingis over 4.5 first quarter points. To be honest, anytime that you can get his first quarter at 4.5, for reasonable odds, that should just be close to an auto bet. Obviously, you want to look into it a little bit more, but he averages over 6 points in the first quarter per game. So right off the bat, we're getting a little bit of a discount, which is valuable in the first quarter specifically. And this number is actually dropped. So I got it at -113. It's right now -104. So maybe I'm missing something. But overall, just like on the entire season, he's scored 5 or more points in the first quarter. He averages over 6 per game. And I forgot to write this part down. Give me 1 second. I can pull it up. But he's scored 5 or more points in the first quarter, just in general. 13 of 19 games, 70% of the time. And one of the games he missed, he only played 5 minutes or actually 2 games he missed. He only played 5 minutes because he got hurt in the middle of those games. More often than not, he's playing like 8 to 10 minutes in the first quarter, which as long as he's getting 8 minutes, I'm good. Going up against the Lakers team that really struggle guarding the paint. They allow the 3rd most points in the paint. And I mean, Kristaps Porzingis is either like a above the break 3 guy or he's shooting in the paint. And if you just look at teams that are bottom 10 guarding the paint, Kristaps Porzingis has scored at least 5 points in the first quarter in 7 of 8 games. So he's a notorious fast starter. He's a first quarter king for us last year. He started to become that way this year as well. So yeah, Kristaps Porzingis first quarter points over 4.5.
I totally forgot about that. I've seen a lot of people. I think you've mentioned that as well, Moda, on the show, and it continues to hit. So, like you said, almost like an auto bet for Porzingis. It does feel like Joe Mazzulla likes to get him going early, and I can see him kind of trying to pull Anthony Davis away from the rim. I mean, he just needs 2 buckets. It also feels like if you've been watching the Celtics play, a lot of his shots have kind of like popped in the rim and popped back out. I feel like I've never seen more person shot go in and then pop back out more than Porzingis. I don't know if it's like the trajectory of his shot or whatever the case might be, but feels like he should have, average about 3 more points per game because it happens frequently. Ski, we got a Celtics team that supposedly is playing 5th game in 7 nights, 6th game in 9 nights with no rest. But they had 3 starters last night that were ruled out, and they all healed up like Wolverine pretty quickly. The hand, the leg, the shoulder, the back, the pinky, the paper cuts, all that. They're all in. Taking on our Lakers tonight. Is it a Lakers spot because Celtics had to go to overtime and was playing with their food last night against the Clippers? Do we give the Lakers a shot as a home dog here, Ski?
God, no, I'm not putting my money on the Lakers. Absolutely not. I'll watch as a fan and root for them and cheer, but no, they're not getting my money in this game. Celtics, from the injury report yesterday, you could tell this is the game they cared about more. I know they played an overtime yesterday, but I still think they have enough in the tank to beat the Lakers by margin. I'm looking more at the total. And I tend to think, well, for one, you mentioned that situation as far as all the games they've been playing lately. But coming off an overtime game, back-to-back, staying in Los Angeles, I think they probably wanted to have a good time last night. I think they don't necessarily care about playing too much that championship defense here in this game. So I'm looking at the over. Teams playing back-to-back in LA, they're about 76% to the over. And if you look at them after an overtime game, also 3-0. So I didn't get the best of the number. I bet it last night. It opened 220.5. I bet it at 220.5. It dropped down to 218.5. And right now I see mostly 220.5s again. So, or 219.5 at one sharp book. So I like the up and over in this game.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I said on my show this morning, I don't care if the Celtics went to triple overtime last night. The Lakers aren't getting any of my money, none of my money. So I'm with Ski on the over here. I do like the over a lot. I think that same trend that Ski talked about. I got a 15-8-1 to the over since the 2022 season. So yeah, I think the reason why the total dropped, in my opinion, Ski, is because the Lakers have been playing pretty slow. They're bottom 5 in pace. We know the Celtics can play slow as well, but like you mentioned, Celtics not playing that great defense. Maybe is a little bit of a letdown. I can see the Lakers trying to play a bit faster than they have been playing to avoid the Boston Celtics, half court defense. And then the other thing that I really like here, and this is an official play, I'm going with your boy Ski, Austin Reeves, our boy Austin Reeves. I'm going under though. I'm going under on his 6.5 assists, and this is really kind of correlated to what we talked about yesterday when I took James Harden under his 8.5 assists. Is that Boston doesn't double team, like they're going to make Austin Reeves beat him. You got really good defenders on the other side, with Drew Holiday and Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. I think they're going to make him work. I do not think that Austin Reeves is going to get a bunch of assists in this game. And when I looked a little bit deeper, Austin Reeves, so the Celtics they allow the 5th fewest assists in the NBA. And when you look at Austin Reeves' game logs, when he's played against teams that are just in the top 10 in limited in assists, he's actually played 7 games so far this season. He hit the over 1 time. That game came against Houston. In Houston, that he had 15 potential and ended up with 10 assists. But every other game, he's actually had 4 or less. So I think we got a little bit of an edge here with him only averaging 4 assists against the top 10 defenses against like giving up assists. So we're going Austin Reeves under his 6.5 assists. Best number I saw available was -115 over on Bet365. And then last but not least, last game on the board, we got the
last but least, yes.
Last and least, the Washington Wizards and the Clippers. Modai, is there a prop that attracts you with this hell of a spread?
So I didn't bet it. I mean, the Wizards are a problem because they're so bad that you would pay a Wizards tax every time you try and bet a prop. So whenever you look at a player's props against the Wizards, it's like 3 to 4, depending on what you're looking at, above what their average is. And sometimes like you can make that argument that that's going to happen. Like I remember last time I came on here, this was a couple of weeks ago, but I was like, I'm staying off anybody playing the Wizards because of the Wizards tax. And like all 3 guys I considered hit their over. So, and this was point. So like it can happen. Anyways, the play that I like where you're not paying a Wizards tax is Zubac and his points. So it's over under. His over under is 13.5. I would everybody knows me. I'm playing that 15 plus. You can get that for plus money. Not once in his last 30 games has he landed on exactly 14 points. And the Wizards, I mean, they're bad everywhere. I mean, you look at their play type and how they guard it. It's just green. It's just green everywhere. So really, no matter where you want to go, you're going to find this situation. But specifically with Zubac, when he's playing teams that can't guard the paint, that are bottom 10 guarding the paint, he scored 15 or more points in 10 of 15 games, averaging about 16 points per game. So like when he goes over, he gets close to it. When he goes under, he doesn't even get close. But 10 of 15 games, scoring 15 points against teams bottom 10 guarding the paint. That includes a game against the Wizards where he only played 24 minutes. They won by 25, and he scored 18 points because he went 9 of 11 from the field. Just no rim resistance on this Wizards team. So if I'm going to play it, that's where I would go because he could do it in the first 3 quarters, get benched in the fourth. No issues there. But again, I didn't bet it. I thought there was better plays on the board, but that's where I would go in this one.
Okay. Ski, we got a total that's less than 225 and a favorite that's on a second leg of a back-to-back coming off an overtime game, laying double digits here, which tells you just how bad the Washington Wizards are. Is there any way that you could get down and get some action in on this Wizards versus Clippers game tonight?
I don't want to waste anybody's time, man. I'm not a bullshitter. You couldn't pay me to bet this game. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna think about it. It's a million things I'd rather do tonight than watch Clippers versus Wizards. I'm sorry.
I think that's fair. So, Ski, can I interest you, or can I potentially talk you into a Wizards team total under 105.5 with it being, a pretty low total? I did some digging. When they're road dog and they're double-digit road dogs with a total that's less than 225 this season, they're 2-0 to the under. They scored 103 against the Sixers. They scored 94 against the Magic. The Clippers are 5-0 against the spread with Kawhi in, and they have a defensive rating of like 96. So they've really been locking teams up. And all the players that didn't play last night are miraculously, like I said, off the injury report. So I didn't bet it, but that would be the way that I would look. And I may potentially even still get there with a Wizards team total under 105.5, just thinking that they really, really struggle to score and get locked up in this game. That would be my recommendation. But like Ski said, I'm not watching the Wizards play against the Clippers. This is way past my bedtime anyway. So even if I was up, I wouldn't be watching this.
I heard that.
The other thing I'll mention is Kyle Kuzma continues to go under. He's been going back and forth for people who have been kind of paying attention to him and I think it's B Titty. B Titty put the video out of him just being a scrub in general, and he actually responded to it. So he continues to go under. I think I heard rumors that he could potentially be traded from DC before the weekends. So I'm not sure where he is, like from a mental state. So potentially looking towards Kuzma to go under on his points prop again, just because it continues to go under. I think the number's like 15.5, and he's struggled to get double digits most games so far this season. So those are 2 recommendations, nothing that I actually bet. Modai, you want to tell the good people where they can find your information if they found you compelling at all?
Yeah, if they found me compelling, you can find me Gaddy at Twitter at Jedi Modai. Also there on YouTube as well. So yeah, if you found me compelling, hit me up on Twitter and YouTube.
Love it. Ski, what about yourself?
Yeah, if you guys want to follow or fade me, all my stuff is Ski Profit, Twitter, YouTube, and I do want to shout out though, if you guys like Ronald Kabang as well, UCapper, him and I do a night show on Wager Talk, and it's called Ahead of the Spread. So we talk about some of these games the night before.
Absolutely, and I'm a big fan of Ahead of the Spread. I typically watch it in the morning when I finish my show. So definitely would endorse that show, especially if you want to get ahead of some of these earlier lines. That's it for today. Probably we will be transitioning.
Yep.
You guys have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow.
All right, we're on to college basketball. Shout out Big Titty, whoever gave us that
Hey, look up Big Titty
yeah.
if you have not, man. He's a funny guy.
Look up Big Titty.
No, not Big Titty. B Titty.
B Titty. I don't know what he was saying about Kuz. I know that Kuz was big ass. Guy fucking sucks. So
I'll DM you the link. Probably.
All right, word. Have a good one, man. Peace. All right, let's get our college basketball dynamic duo on the screen. We got Toast and Vanderbosch again. So 1 second. All right, so we got Toast. And then we got Vandy. Toast, how we doing, fella?
I'm good. I just wanted to give you a public service announcement. I'd be very careful opening that link from Chris. You never know what's gonna pop up.
Oh, yeah. He's saying big titty on the air, guys. These guys are mad, man.
Yeah. Trevor, how you doing today, brother?
Good. How about yourself?
I can't complain. Little one's a little sick, but hey, you get through it.
Press on.
Yeah, let's just jump right into it. Memphis, we talked about this one a little bit last night. Nothing has really changed for me in this game. I still like the over. There's not a chance in hell I would lay a big number with this Memphis team. Not that I don't think that they're a good basketball team. It's just, especially in conference play, they haven't really been tested like this. I know that Wichita State hasn't really been fantastic, but they've also played a little bit better competition over the last couple of weeks. But I played the over on the pace. Just both teams run at a very high pace. So I think this is a little bit of a get-up game for Wichita State as well. So I expect them to score a little bit. But yeah, I played over. I don't know what your thoughts are. I don't know if you actually end up playing anything. Actually, sorry.
I haven't yet. I still like Wichita in this one. You kind of alluded to it. Laying double digits with Penny is just never a profitable endeavor. I mean, maybe they do win this by 20, but in the long run, you're not going to make money. Back in Penny is a 13-point favorite in many games, but I mean, Wichita State, their offense is just fine. It's just a matter of if Memphis actually cares to play defense, which normally they don't. So that could be an issue here. But I still like Wichita. I think they're going to come out. They're going to get their best effort. They have Tulsa on deck, so they have nothing to look forward to. And this is probably the biggest game of the conference season for them. So I expect them to get up and try to hang in this one.
Yeah, I was just about to say that the only thing that has me a little bit worried as far as my over, now that I looked a little bit even more deeper into it, is that I guess I didn't take into consideration how big that game versus UAB is going to be on Sunday for Memphis. So maybe it's a little bit of a look ahead spot. So that even more reason to probably bet Wichita if you're trying to pick a side. So I'm all right with my over though. Next game up.
Wichita did end their season in the conference tournament last year to ruin their chances to go to the Big Dance. So maybe there's a little extra motivation in there, but
very true.
Still, I think Wichita is going to be able to hang in this one.
Very true. Finally, a little bit of a mid-major talk here with Charleston and UNC Wilmington. I haven't bet this one yet. The line has kind of continued to creep up a little bit. I think it's at 3s across the board. I don't know. I know that you kind of felt the same way about me. You can go first. I lean Wilmington pretty hard in this one.
Yeah, I bet Wilmington. It was
okay.
2.5, 2 last night. Then it popped up to 3 a little bit ago, so I fired on it. Everyone likes Charleston. Charleston's a good team. I'm not going to deny that. They are home. But new coach, some of the players that played last year aren't there anymore, so it's a lot of bench guys and some transfers that came in. But I think Wilmington's going to get up for this game. This is the biggest game of their season so far for the conference. I forget what exactly the standings are, but they can tie it or at least they're sitting 4-2 and Charleston's 5-1, so they can find themselves at the top also for this conference. So they're going to be dropping 2 games behind, which is going to be a little bit of a struggle to claw back, because I don't think there's a ton of competition. William and Mary and whatnot. So,
well, I was just going to say, and to your point to that, UNC Wilmington, if they were to lose this game, kind of puts them at a disadvantage, because we talked about a little bit last night. William and Mary has a game that they should win, and Towson's like a 14-point favorite or something like that today as well. So that would, if UNC Wilmington lost today, that would put Charleston, William and Mary, and Towson a full 2 games ahead of them. So in the conference, as far as that's concerned. So yeah.
Yeah, I just think you're getting to that part of the season where you got to kind of factor that in a little bit. Like, obviously, like, these teams aren't going to drop games to Stony Brook and NCA&T, but these games right here, you have to get up for. You got to steal one on the road to gain up some ground and help yourself.
Yeah, and again, I just tailed though as we were talking. I bet it on ESPN. But just as far as matchup wise, you have a Charleston team that likes to play really, really fast. But I would argue that I think that UNC Wilmington has the horses to slow this game down. They like to play a really slow pace, and I also think that the defense for UNC Wilmington is kind of comparable to Charleston. I know Charleston's numbers look a little bit better, but I don't really know what to make of that. So, and one thing that Charleston's done very, very well is defend the 3-point line, but that's not what UNC Wilmington is trying to do. They're one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the country, so I have a hard time believing they're going to come out here tonight just jacking up a whole bunch of threes. Again, I could be wrong, but I'm going to tell you with that UNC Wilmington. I hadn't bet it yet, but I'm going to now. So, next game up. As our boy Andy would say, I think this is going to be a dog walk. Trevor, I know you bet this as well. You can start if you want. I'm all over Illinois. I know you're all over Illinois as well.
Yeah, I got the worst of the number. I got 9 last night, thinking it would just keep climbing. Yeah, no, this is the same thing happened with me at Houston yesterday. I got 19 and closed at 16.5. They didn't. It was never close. This is gonna be the same thing. I mean, you got Illinois, who's off of the loss at Michigan State, where Casper Jakachunas, or however you say it, he played 9 minutes with and fouled out. So I mean, he didn't get any run in that game. And then the last home game for Illinois, they lost outright to USC. So I think he got a double angle here for them coming out fired up. And Jakachunas gets fouled out in 5 minutes or 10 minutes at home again, whatever. But that's not going to happen. You're going to get that home whistle. Maryland, they're good, but on the road, I don't trust them as much. I know Derek Queen and Julian Reese are really good down low, but like you said last night, the length, the size, the athleticism for Illinois is going to cause a whole bunch of problems, not to mention the loss angle here. So, I think this is Illinois by 15 plus tonight.
And I also feel, and to add to what you were saying is with Illinois, is that I also feel like Maryland is getting a little bit too much respect. I will give them, I don't really, in my personal opinion, I don't really grade them down as much as if they were to play like an Ohio State and a Rutgers and lose those 2 games like on the road. And when I mean that by is when they go out to Washington and Oregon, I expect them to win at least the Washington game, but I didn't really expect them to win the Oregon game. They probably could have won that Oregon game, but since then, I mean, Maryland's getting some respect in the market, but I don't understand why. I mean, keep in mind when they beat UCLA was a shell of themselves from what they were or what they looked like the last couple of times they've played. Not to mention the fact that Minnesota is an absolutely terrible team. Northwestern, I mean, at times can look decent, but they're still 2-6 in conference play, 3-5, something like that. So it's not like it's a great basketball team. And like I continue to preach on about Nebraska, they're not a good basketball team. Everybody has this idea that Nebraska is a good basketball team, but they're 2-6 in conference as well. So I just think this is going to be a really big step up in class for Maryland on the road against an Illinois team that, as Trevor illustrated, best player just got to play 9 minutes the last game. They lost their home game. I think that Illinois wins this game by 15 plus. So, it should be a dog walk, as we like to say around here nowadays. Next game on the board, going out west. I'm not going to bet this game. My thoughts, we talked about this game last night, obviously. My thoughts haven't changed. St. Mary's looks really good right now. But who against who? Pacific 299 and Ken Palm, Pepperdine 209, Portland 317, San Diego 276, Pepperdine again, Loyola Marymount, who's absolutely terrible. The fact that they're under 150 blows my mind. But not that San Francisco is some end all be all team, but at the same time, this is going to be a significant step up in competition for St. Mary's. Again, I'm not going to bet it because if St. Mary's is on a roll, then they should have a huge rebounding advantage. But I lean the points here. I know it's gotten bet up a little bit, but I still lean San Francisco. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I want to bet San Francisco so bad, but this number is scary that you're getting that many points
right?
with them.
Like
it's. I don't know if the books are just going off metrics, like St. Mary's should beat them. I mean, they'll have the size advantage, rebounding. So, I mean, if San Francisco's not hitting shots or getting bad shots off, they're going to struggle to get second chances. But, I mean, this line just feels like they're telling you something. Like St. Mary's going to just show up and show out tonight. So, I'm with you. I lean the points with San Francisco, but I'm just going to stay off. I would much rather watch this game and it be a close game and be like, should have fucking bet this game instead of bet it and they lose by 20. I'm like, it was big for a reason. So
yeah, I'm okay with leaning this one and missing out on a cash. But the only reason I say that is, and part of the reason I want to take the points too, is look at the total, guys. It's 135. I don't know if it's moved down or up, but regardless, there shouldn't be a ton of points in this game. So I think I even mentioned this last night. If you really want to play St. Mary's and you're scared because they're the slowest team in college basketball, not that San Francisco plays fast either, then I would look at a San Francisco team total under. I think that St. Mary's plays through their defense before anything and slows this game down and makes it so San Francisco can't score at all. And if that's the case, I mean, judging by the totals, San Francisco would score less than 50, give or take. And I'm not even exaggerating. That's just, at 135. If St. Mary's is going to win by 15 or 20, there's only so many points to go around, Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see this one. Staying out west for the next game, Beaver, Santa Clara, Washington State. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this one, Trevor. I don't really know. I think that Santa Clara is very good, or better than people think, and I don't think that I was telling my dad for a while now that Gonzaga was going to have trouble with them. It's just, can you trust them after, regardless if they've been playing well or not since December and that McNeese State win? They haven't really looked back. They lost to overtime in San Francisco, and then I don't know how they lost to Loyola Marymount. But do you trust them laying a number or a couple possessions after that Gonzaga win against a somewhat decent Washington State team?
I thought about this all day. I think I am going to bet Santa Clara. One, it's the late game. It's the last one.
You got to do something. Yeah.
Got to have some action. I think Santa Clara is a good team. They've played a step up in competition here. San Francisco, they lost an OT. That game was crazy, but Oregon State, they got their revenge on San Francisco. Lost to LMU after that game, but beat Gonzaga. Washington State's played nobody. Portland, San Diego, and then the Gonzaga wiped the floor with them. They lost to Pacific at home. They got San Francisco. So, they really haven't looked super good, and they haven't played much of anybody the last week or so. So I think I am going to bet on Santa Clara tonight to keep this rolling. They're a much better team. They can't drop this game. So, if they win by 3 or 4, so be it. But I think they're going to have enough energy and motivation here to keep this going, because they've got to win over the big dogs, so they could potentially find themselves fighting for the top of the WCC here. They're 5-2. St. Mary's is 6-0, and everyone else is 6-2, 5-2. So they're right there. It's just a matter of if St. Mary's will get caught a few times here. So I think they'll have the motivation to get out there and win this game by multiple possessions.
Yeah, I 100% agree with the motivation, because I do think that the seeding in that West Coast Conference tournament is going to matter with St. Mary's, San Francisco, Gonzaga, Santa Clara. Maybe not. I don't really worry about Washington State as much, but I think the seeding is going to matter. The two teams that get how the WCC tournament works, unless they've changed it now this year, but the top two teams get essentially a bye into the semifinals. So any other team is going to be playing at least one, if not 2 extra games. So I would assume that Santa Clara is up and ready for this game. The reason that Washington, again, you said it clearly, Washington State really hasn't played anybody for a month. And when they have, they ended up, look at who they've played on the road too. Portland, Washington, who's terrible. Washington looks good at times, but even the Nevada win on the road. Nevada, since Nevada played that Washington State team, I think they've won like 3 or 4 games, and those games are against teams like Air Force, Fresno State, Texas Southern. Nevada's an absolute free for all. We saw last night them lose by 40 points, which, again, my point being is that I don't know how impressive that road win is for me against Nevada for Washington State. So for them to not only play huge steps up in competition, over the last couple of days, San Diego and Portland and Pacific, I know you sprinkle Seattle or the Gonzaga in there, but Santa Clara's, head and shoulders better than this Washington State team. And I think the huge thing for me is the turnovers. Washington State is going to turn the ball over a lot. They're one of the worst teams in the country, if not the worst team in the country. I'm not sure, turning the basketball over. So Washington State can run their offense, but I just think that Santa Clara is going to be a little bit too much for them. It'd be Santa Clara pass. I didn't end up betting it, but I might have Santa Clara in the money line parlay or something like that later tonight. Or if I'm having a good night, again, I might just throw some shekels on Santa Clara as well. Why not?
All right, and then this is a bonus game I added. Middle Tennessee against Sam Houston.
Woo! Slobber talker right now. Beaver, you are in the weeds, and I love it.
Yeah.
Great job. I love
Game's
it.
awesome.
I like Sam Houston here today. Do you have any thoughts on this game, Trevor, before I go?
Yeah, I bet Sam Houston last night.
Perfect.
I got the 1.
Hell
it's
yeah.
up to 2. I don't really care.
I don't care either. I got 1.5, so whatever.
Perfect. Yeah, I think they're gonna win this outright anyway. But I mean, you get I always fade Middle Tennessee on the road, back them at home. They're so much better at home than they are on the road. You got Sam Houston, who plays better at home than on the road. And Middle Tennessee's off of the 100 Miles of Hate game against Western Kentucky. So they spent all their energy. They laid it out in that game. They got the win. Now they're going to hit the road immediately to Sam Houston, who I believe is near the top of Kusa play here. I could be wrong. Sam Houston, where are they? Whatever, I don't see them. But they're just a better team. They're better at home, and it's just a pure fate of Middle Tennessee off of the big rivalry game that those two they always go at it. So I have no problem fading them the immediate game after, and they're on the road here. So give me Sam Houston. I don't care if it goes up to 3. I think they're winning this game outright.
Yeah, and I also feel like this is a nice again. I think Sam Houston has lost a couple times in the last couple weeks, but 1, 2, 3, 4 of those games that they lost were all on the road, and one of them was to New Mexico State, who's I mean, I guess they're a somewhat decent basketball team now. I mean, they're not the garbage fire that they were last year. They're 4-1 in conference right now, so that's a really hard to knock that team. UTEP is somewhat decent team. They lost to Kennesaw State on the road in overtime, talking about Sam Houston State, and then they ended up losing the next game against Jacksonville State too. But those games were 2 days apart from each other, playing on the road, back-to-back games, and then one of those games being overtime. Now they have 5 days off, playing a Middle Tennessee team that's, like Trevor said, off a rivalry game, and this is kind of a little bit of a step up in competition, I think, for Middle Tennessee as well. Not to mention the fact that I think I like Sam Houston State at home because they rely on the 3-point shot. They're one of the top 20 3-point shooting teams in the country. I know that Middle Tennessee State, Jesus, has done a good job defending it, but I think that Sam Houston at home, after a nice little break to get their mind right after dropping a few games on the road. I mean, this is like, I would say this is kind of Sam Houston's season right here, as far as conference play is concerned. And I'm not trying to say they're going to lose out or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, this is by far probably the best team they're going to play the rest of the year, not named Liberty, if they play Liberty one more time, right? So again, I think that you're going to see a focused effort out of this, at home from Sam Houston State. Sorry, I was looking at Middle Tennessee State's other road games and stuff, and I got ahead of myself talking because they lost by 10 to Liberty as well, and I couldn't just read that in my brain and spit it all out. So fuck Liberty anyway. Who cares?
And I was totally wrong. Sam Houston's 1-4 conference play. Shows you how much I've watched them lately.
Well, no, and my point, I was going to transition off that and saying that that's right. I focused on what they've done the last couple of weeks because all those games have been on the road. At home, they've been a completely different story. Again, big step up in competition, but Sam Houston State, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of their last 8 games, 5 of them have been on the road. So it's going to be nice for them to get a little bit of home cooking.
Yep. And to your point also, Sam Houston shoots from 3 at home 44% versus 36.8 on the road. So yeah, they really cook at home. So I'm with you. This is Sam Houston outright tonight. This is a big game. Perfect spot for him.
Also, I would be remiss if I didn't say Middle Tennessee, one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the conference. Sam Houston State, one of the best free throw shooting teams in the conference. Take us away, Beaver.
Alrighty, folks, that is all for today's program. I don't do the community parlay when Kyle's not here. It's too overwhelming. So that's it. We'll be back for the midnight stream tonight, and then our regularly scheduled programming will be back tomorrow. It's a very small NBA slate, but I'm assuming we'll have some Friday college action. I don't know. I don't even think college basketball is that great on Friday. So,
I was going to say, yeah, there's probably 3 games to talk about tonight. I don't even, midnight stream might even be 50-50 if you want, because there's really 3, maybe 4 games that are worth talking about.
Doing a really great job of selling our upcoming streams. All right, folks, that'll be all. We'll talk